I'm Pete Wright.
And I'm Andy Nelson.
Welcome to The Next Reel. When the movie ends,
our conversation begins.
Night Moves is over. Eat a woodpile on the chance there's a snake in it. Hands down, best line of the movie. Andy, there's a chance that's the best line of any movie we've talked about this year.
Why do I have a feeling you're going to now try to integrate that into every conversation you have?
God, it's so good. It's just that good. Night Moves. Okay, I hadn't seen Night Moves. I hadn't seen it. Hackman. We like Hackman. Arthur Penn, Alan Sharp wrote it. Jennifer Warren. What happened to Jennifer Warren, man? I went into this movie with low expectations, thanks to you, because you said you didn't care for it that much the first time you saw it. I'm wondering if you changed your tune at all.
Yeah, this is an interesting one to return to because this is what I wrote on Letterboxd when I first watched this movie, which wasn't that long ago. September 26, 2018. This is a frustrating watch. My understanding is that it's supposed to be frustrating, as that's what the director Arthur Penn was going for, creating a detective story where everything is obfuscated, only revealed when our detective protagonist finds out. Even then, though, the crimes end up being fairly nonsensical when the final credits start to roll. I enjoyed the characters and the interesting 70s-style relationships, but the story just didn't work for me. 2.5 stars, no heart.
Here's the thing. I think I agree with your review, but I'd probably give it more stars. How confusing is that?
Well, and that's, I think, where I landed this time. Like, in the scope of noir, neo-noir, I mean, I generally love noir stories, and this one certainly fits into that, where the story is kind of nonsensical, and we'll talk about the plot a little bit, because
if we can.
I'm still like, who was actually involved in this? Like, how deep does it go? You know, and Arthur Penn is one of those directors who I feel like until he gets to the scenes of violence, you know, and I'm thinking of things like Bonnie and Clyde, which certainly has that explosive ending. And here we also have a rather explosive ending. I feel like until he gets to those moments, he kind of is a TV director. Like, he's pretty boring as far as like his camera positions and his movements and everything.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, okay, you're not overly exciting me with what you're doing here. And this is neo-noir, and there's nothing noirish about it as far as like playing with the shadows and darkness and the contrast and everything like that. It just feels pretty dry. It's LA and it's Florida, so we're getting kind of even in the sun-baked elements of those two areas, even there we're not getting anything that stood out too much. But still, I found myself enjoying it a lot more this time.
I couldn't help but think about how would this movie have carried with other characters in it? Because the cast carries so much. Hackman is so charismatic. Warren is great. Like, I just really enjoy the performances, and a lesser cast, a less charismatic cast. I wonder how well they could have carried the plot, because I was interested in watching how these people were interacting much more than I was interested in what they were doing. And I think let's talk about first what we like about it, because I want to celebrate what's good before we pull it apart. Can we do that? We'll start with Moseby, Harry Moseby. I like Harry Moseby a lot. He's much more bad monkey than he is Raymond Chandler. And you brought up the Florida thing. Like, this is a sun-drenched detective story, not noir. I see the moody broodiness of the noir, I guess, but it just doesn't have the tone, as you rightly said. I really enjoy Harry Moseby. What do you think of the detective?
Well, and I think a lot of that boils down to the fact that Gene Hackman was cast in the role. And I think he tapped into something incredibly dark and brooding and lost that we don't necessarily always get in what Arthur Penn's doing with the direction. But I love what Hackman is doing here and the way that he carries himself, presents himself. He's kind of this, I mean, he himself is a little bit of, as is so often in these noir stories, a little bit of a lost soul who it's brought up quite a number of times how he was this big football star and everything. And it seems like he's still carrying that and never has been able to kind of re-achieve any of the glory of his youth. And now here he is working as a detective where he's just kind of unable to look at anything internal. And so all he does is fix other people's problems. Name's Andy, and I'm in the business of digging up the truth. That little taste you just heard? Just the opening act of a story with more layers than a con man's alibi. You think you've got night moves figured out from 5 minutes? Think again, champ. In this racket, the good stuff happens after hours, behind closed doors where the amateurs can't follow. Membership gets you a backstage pass to the real show, monthly bonus episodes that cut deeper than a $2 shave, plus access to our other operations, Sitting in the Dark, CinemaScope, the Film Board, and Movies We Like. Consider it your license to kill time with the finest film discussion this side of Sunset Boulevard. Members get the uncut version, early ad-free access without some sponsor hawking soap powder right when we're dissecting a character's moral decay. Sweet deal. You vote on which films get the treatment next. In this game, knowledge is power, and power is everything. Our Discord? Think of it as the all-night cafeteria where insomniacs and film obsessives trade theories over black coffee. Everyone's welcome, but members get the corner table where we really spill the secrets. $5 a month buys you entry to this particular club. $55 annually if you're smart enough to plan ahead. And in my experience, the smart money always wins. Once you've heard our full Night Moves dissection, you'll understand why some conversations can only happen when the city's asleep and the neon signs are the only witnesses. Head to truestory.fm/join if you're ready to see how deep this rabbit hole goes. That's trustory.fm/join. The case files are waiting, and frankly, I could use someone with your particular interests. Trust me on this one. I'm good at reading people.